Chapter 1. Goodbye, Daddy. Truly, when I was very young, way back in the 50s, I believed all of life would be like one long and perfect summer day. After all, it did start out that way. There's not much I can say about our earliest childhood except that it was very good, and for that I should be everlastingly grateful. We weren't rich, we weren't poor. If we lacked some necessity, I couldn't name it. If we had luxuries, I couldn't name those either, without comparing what we had to what others had, and nobody had more or less in our middle-class neighborhood. In other words, short and simple, we were just ordinary run-of-the-mill children.
Wow. So I'm
Yeah.
just messing it all up tonight. Okay, hi everyone.
Hey, everybody. You know, as an author, I have never considered having a serial killer narrate my books for me. Like,
They never had a choice.
I don't think they did either.
I-
They just kind of he read over 6,000 hours of books on tape.
that's impressive. Like, on top of some of the narrators that I really want to work with, I don't think have even hit that point yet. But
Yeah,
that's
well,
beside the
I
point.
mean,
That was just
when you have all the time in the world, I guess.
Yeah, he's got nothing
point.
but time. Nothing but time.
Looking for my stupid hair tie. All right, guys. Hello.
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 Delphine's here.
Yes. I don't have the means to share out right now because my phone's in the other room.
I'll be right back.
You're fine. But yes, hello everybody. Hello, hello. We have a guest host tonight, Delphine. And I look like a drag queen. Okay.
You're allowed.
I'm getting used to it.
Gonna show off my shirt for the night.
Let's see.
This is a Fractured Mind publishing shirt.
Nice. Okay, I'll turn mine off. Hold on.
You can get them on Amazon.
You ready? You ready for mine? There's a reason
ready
why I did all these colors on my face.
Okay. Oh, that's so cute.
Care Bears! It's the Care Bear stare.
I was on Prometheus last night, and one of the questions in the trivia murder party was which Care Bear had the rainbow on it, and I got it right.
That would be Loves a Lot?
Fun. It wasn't Funshine. It was Care a Lot or something like that.
I thought it was Loves a Lot, but it could be Care a Lot.
Isn't there a Prozac Bear?
I wish there was a Prozac Bear.
I'm just saying, I thought there was.
Mine would be Prozac Bear. Actually, I think it might be a Xanax Bear, and then I'd be fine with that too.
Mine would be Prozac because I like frozen yogurt. So
I'm Bedtime Bear. I just sleep.
I want to be Good Luck Bear, but let's be real, I'm Grumpy Bear.
Is there like a cocaine bear? There is. That I actually heard that movie's kind of funny. Funny and
I heard great
campy
things about it. Yeah.
Oh, babe, your friend, so one of his friends that used to work at a bar that we go to, had posted the other day, hey, who wants to get together, put a bunch of baby powder under our nose, and go see Cocaine Bear?
He's like, I'm like,
and I was like, I'll do it.
Hear me out, guys. Who wants to get together, put a bunch of baby powder under her nose, do some LSD, and go see Cocaine Bear?
You're not good with the LSD part.
Yeah, I'm not good with that last part, but the first part was.
I don't know. I mean, okay, shrooms.
I'm just no.
Because as I'm wearing mushrooms all over, I'm doing it because they're cute. Okay, not because I'm doing shrooms.
Hey, what did the one mushroom say to the other mushroom who wanted to have sex with it?
Nothing, because you were too damn high.
Careful, there's not mushroom back there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. I really don't.
So we're talking about Kemper tonight, by the way, for those of you who
thought we were gonna.
Edmondo Lawrence Bundy, right? No. Look, I always do that.
Same
I always when
here.
I'm talking about Bundy, I always say Ed Bundy on accident because I want to say that, and then all of a sudden it's the same thing with like Edmund Kemper. Always when I call him Ed, I say Ted.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
just
have to be sad news for people who'd been wanting the Little Bundy Foo-Foo shirts. Might find some way to work it out, but from working on the Herfnerder stuff so far, we've found that apparently, like, psychotic people's photos aren't allowed to be printed on some t-shirt printing companies, so
I'll find a way because we found
we're working on it.
a shirt because of Gigi Allen's brother, Merle Allen.
it was Ed
that
Gein.
it had Ed Gein on it, and it says Ed Gein loves eating pussy.
I'm gonna work. I think I can find them printable in another store. I just don't think that this
Hey,
store that's
I
being
just
used.
found somebody who could do it, and I'll send you.
Anyway,
He's a friend of mine. I will send you his name. They were printing for bands like Septic Flesh, and they have some gnarly like logos and stuff that they print. So I think they would be able to do it.
okay,
Definitely.
we will check into it.
So give
How's
me one.
everybody doing tonight? Ready to
Oh,
hear
there's
some
people in
Murder
here. No one.
Eisen?
There's people in here, but nobody's saying hi. So you know.
Oh well, it happens.
Hi, people.
Hi, people that aren't
Hi.
saying hi.
I think we were
This
supposed to be
might
on.
be my.
We were supposed to be on last night, but we were
Yeah.
indisposed.
No, it was St. Patrick's Day, and why would we go live when everybody's going to be partying?
And I was not feeling well at all.
Hi, Slippy. Hi, Raven. Raven's
Hey.
fine.
Hello.
Hi, Slippy.
I just tagged out like 240
Hello, Raven. Hello. Oh, new person for me.
Raven is my best. He's
Nice.
my person.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So give me one moment. I am trying to share out.
people.
He's my long distance platonic life partner.
I love it. Absolutely.
And that's his gal, Lori. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori. Hello, hello.
Oh yeah, we have a YouTube channel.
Wow, are you? Wow.
That's PBDC Collective on YouTube.
The PBDC Collective.
The PBDC Collective.
Ink.
Gosh,
Ink.
Huh. Ink.
Okay.
Huh.
So I was able to share that out finally. Woo! Hello, people. All right. So tonight, yes, I know that we have talked about Kemper before, but we've never talked about Kemper before with Dell.
We're just gonna call that. We're gonna have a requirement for everyone who comes in. You got to go on here and you have to talk Edmund Kemper.
Yeah, it's in the contract. So my hair, by the way, for everyone, this has its own contract. You can see why. I think I can't even get it all in here.
I am jealous of your hair.
It's poofy tonight. I need to get it back into curls again. Right now, it's just an explosion.
I love it.
So, the one thing we get to do tonight, I think this is more like the jumping in into the gang for Dell. We get to introduce her to the term irrumatio.
Well, since she's a writer, I'm pretty sure she knows what irrumatio means. And
Edmund Kemper never had real sex with the victims. He did it.
See, exactly.
He did something else.
Well, he's not the only one who did it.
Exactly.
Oh, there's a few people who did that stuff, you know.
And they didn't have to be dead. It's just
his word. For him, they did.
No, he did. I think he did have a relationship or two outside of it. That he did have actual, at least once or twice, you know, sex.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say here.
Are you distracted right now by me trying to share?
Very much so.
Gosh, keep talking. It's not letting me share right now.
I don't know.
So experiencing technical difficulties on sharing, but
there might be something up.
You guys are all red. I'm like in the blue section here, so it worked
Oh
out
yeah.
that you did the red and blue page coloring. All these things we have to look into as we're doing this. We prepare this especially for y'all. It's
Oh yeah. I thought you grabbed my phone.
spend days doing this.
I thought he had grabbed my phone and I was getting ready to be able to do that, but it
Yes, Lori, that's exactly what we're talking about, actually.
yes, yeah, that's what we meant.
Yeah. Say the word for me again because I can't.
Irrumatio.
Irrumatio
Yep.
is basically skull fucking.
Well,
It's
actually,
when
it's
the other person isn't participating other than just being an orifice.
it's forced fellatio. So irrumatio can actually take place on a live human being as well, but in this situation, it was definitely not.
So
It is the
what
proper term for forced fellatio.
can you really force them if they're dead though?
Well, I mean, they had to well, yeah.
I mean, forcing the jaw. Yeah.
Oh, oh, look
Oh
at
my
this.
god.
Look
We're
at
gonna
this
lose people.
handsome fella.
You guys are so in love. It's just
Look at that handsome feller. All right, so yes,
we ready?
yes,
Talk about Miss Kemper.
There we go. So Edmund Kemper, I lost my notes here, was born on December 18th, 1948, in Burbank, California. He was he is rather 6'9". Some of the names that he had: Big Ed, the Mad Titan, Ogre of Aptos, Co-Ed Butcher, and Co-Ed Killer. Wow.
Yeah, he was a huge guy. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my
Was he like
lighter.
6'7", wasn't he?
6'9".
6'9",
6'9".
300
And
when
he's
he
still
was
alive.
when he's probably not 6'9" anymore because you kind of shrink when you get up there. But
Well, he's about 74 now.
yeah, but when he tried out, that was the reason he. This is what's fucked up is he'd been in prison. Well, he'd been the reason he didn't make the police force wasn't because he had murdered people before that and been caught and served time for it. It was because of his size.
Yeah.
He was just too big to be a police officer, apparently.
Well, yeah, it was that.
I don't know how that works,
He
but
didn't fit in the squad car was part of it.
okay, yeah.
But the interesting part, yeah, you're right, is that even though he had murdered before, which we will totally get into,
Yeah.
at the age of 15, even though he had murdered somebody at the age of 15, that was a juvenile record. He had shown improvement. He had shown that he had the aptitude to be a leader and everything. But he was just too large to be in a squad car.
Which is
crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not that you'd want this particular large fella to be to be a police officer, but I mean, wouldn't you want a guy that was menacing
I think he
be
was
a police officer?
I
'Cause
actually think it was
It-
more he was trying to get in with the highway patrol, and the height thing is a major thing with him.
it is. So
It makes me think of that part in The Princess Bride where it's like, I'll call in the Brute Squad. I am the Brute Squad.
yeah,
With Andre the Nephilim.
Andre the Nephilim.
Inconceivable.
Definitely. There we go. Well, I was able to share off here.
Haha.
There we go.
Yay,
let's
we
get
are
in.
shared.
Let's get into some of this. Edmund Emil Kemper III, as I said before, he was born December 18th, 1948. He is an American serial killer who murdered a total of 10 people, including a 15-year-old girl, as well as his own mother and her best friend, from May 1972 to April of 1973. Now, that does not cover the totality of his murders, by the way, because they're not talking about when he murdered his grandparents when he was 15 or 16.
I thought it was all because that's when he was 60, when it was 16 or 1960. The 10-year span was
I
from
said 72 to 73.
but he was killing for 10 years. I mean, it happened in over a span of 10 years. He killed his grandparents at the start. At the end of it was about 10 victims, and he was very open and honest with it.
Hey, Razzles.
Yes.
I don't think you're understanding me. I only said a 1-year time span.
Oh, okay. I see what you said now.
So following his okay, so basically here we go. He had the 1-year time span of a spree, basically killing spree, following his parole for murdering his paternal grandparents. He was nicknamed the co-ed killer, as most of his victims were female college students that he had picked up hitchhiking around the vicinity of Santa Cruz, California, and the university that was over there. He's
Sorry, the way you said that it was like the rival university where you were like, on that university. We don't even talk about that one over there. The edible kicked in. It finally really kicked in.
Fresno State students.
Yeah, he was a very naughty man.
The certain quarterback of the Raiders went to Fresno State, or the former quarterback. I can't think of his name now. David Carr.
It's
Derek
sports ball. Nobody cares.
Fuck the Raiders.
I like him. I like the Carr family because I know them. Or I knew them back in high school.
Raz, when I was in high school, we were the Raiders. I was a cheerleader for the Raiders. I was a
Steal their
cheerleader.
mascot, then
their
go
mascot?
streaking in the
Yes.
quad.
And then pick up some co-eds. And well, Irrumatio.
Scooping up the co-eds and fucking them in the head.
Yeah, basically.
Yay! Delphine said another swear online.
Said a wordy dirty.
I don't think my mom's gonna watch this one. I'm not too worried about it.
One of us.
Were the
One of us.
we were the Comanches.
I was a Mustang.
Mustang Sally.
What was your mascot, Del?
She just said
Raiders.
it.
Oh.
That's why we were just talking about them.
Okay, this edible really kicked in. It really kicked in. Hey,
Really?
I was a first string center once upon a time, says Raz, while Frankers is not looking at the screen.
Don't you want to? I saw it. I was about to look up and say something. Don't you want to be like one of the power chords, actually, like one of the top strings instead of?
Every time
instead of
says
like
strings, I'm just thinking of tampons.
I'm
okay?
thinking of guitars.
I'm thinking of physics, but
I'm
string theory.
We're being juveniles here, and here's Del going, there definitely is a
String
I know there's a multiverse out there. I want to get to it.
And I'm over here, tampons. But anyway, so he stands at height of 6'9", and most of his murders included necrophilia, and a couple had incidents of rape.
Oh, so I was wrong. He did put it in a couple of them in the proper spot.
So it doesn't say proper spot. You can rape any part of the body, just to be clear here. So
I mean, we could try.
Oh boy.
It could be the Enterprise tonight.
I'd be a drop D if we're talking music.
Drop D. Oh yeah.
I have
Yeah.
Well,
so
it's one of the actual chords that metals.
Yeah,
I'm
Muskrats
aware. I'm
dying.
aware.
we know this.
We are aware.
We all got it, Hexxus.
Yes. So I'm gonna stop here real fast. We're gonna start back up with where he was born and all that kind of fun stuff. But let's talk about Santa Cruz during the time that this was going on. So.
Oh, okay. We're gonna. Oh, sorry. I just got a cat.
Hi,
Hinata, say hi. Hinata's
Hi.
just crawling in all of my cords right now. So, after we get, we're gonna talk real quick about Santa Cruz during his murder spree time, because it wasn't just him. And this was stolen actually from the
Murderpedia?
Lost Boys, um, called Santa Carla, the murder capital of the world.
Yeah.
But actually, they took it from Santa Cruz because I'm just gonna read it here real quick. It's easier. The beach town of Santa Cruz lies south of San Francisco on the Pacific coast. Surrounded by mountains, oceans, and towering redwood trees, it's a tourist mecca and an upscale place to own a home or rent an apartment. During the early 1970s, when the murders began, townspeople were already torn over the hippies moving in, thanks in part to the University of California opening a new campus there. Young people flooded in, and not all of them were what the residents called desirable. At the time, Demio writes, 95% of murders that occurred in America were primarily situational, inspired by tense domestic incidents or the result of some kind of altercation amongst acquaintances. But the murders during the 1970s in Santa Cruz defied this pattern, and while only one killer was quickly captured after his crime, for several months no arrests were made or suspects identified for the other cases. By 1973, people were purchasing guns to protect themselves because clearly these offenders were boldly entering the homes of ordinary citizens. Near the end of 1970, John Linley Frazier murdered 5 people, the Ota family and Dr. Ota's secretary, to stop what he viewed as the spread of progress that was ruining the natural environment. An extremist in the hippie free lifestyle, he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, but nevertheless was found sane and convicted. His trial became a circus, in part because he wanted to appear to be pretending to be insane so the jury would believe he was malingering. But there was also an air of suspicion against hippies because over the span of 2 nights during the previous year, Charles Manson and his gang had massacred 7 people down in Los Angeles. Like Manson, Frazier had invaded a home and brutally killed the occupants, including 2 children, for some bizarre drug inspired vision. Then, in late 1972 and early 73, across a terrifying period of 4 months, another series of murders occurred around Santa Cruz. Amongst the victims were 4 campers, a priest, a man digging in his garden, a young girl, and a mother and her 2 children. The police finally stopped the killer, Herbert Mullen, 25. Although he had been institutionalized and evaluated as a danger to others, he'd nevertheless become an outpatient, which allowed him to roam freely. He'd stopped taking his antipsychotic medication and heard a voice that urged him to kill. It was his mission, Mullen believed, to save the people of California from a super earthquake that would send them into the ocean. Thus, he decided he had to sing the die song, which he believed would persuade 13 people to either kill themselves or allow themselves to become human sacrifices, which he said they conveyed to him telepathically. Using a knife, gun, or baseball bat to slay those who he selected, he killed until police picked him up. Also diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, he was nevertheless considered legally sane and convicted on 10 counts of murder. But even before that, in May 1972, female hitchhikers began to disappear. To subdue public panic, the authorities tried linking these disappearances to Mullen so they could assure the community that the spate of murders was at an end. But it soon turned out to be another person altogether, someone who surprised them. Eventually, the Santa Cruz Sentinel, the local newspaper, would put together a magazine that reviewed important events in the area across the decades and featured these 3 killers. It felt like the actions of a world gone crazy, recalled reporter Tom Honig. The 1970s was an age of violence, and along with Frazier and Mullen, they would add Edmund Kemper, now a young man. Altogether, the 3 killed 28 people and represented the 3 basic types of multiple murderers. Frazier killed all of his victims at once, Mullen in a spree, accounting for his projected goal of 13, and Kemper as a serial killer. Now, the reason it was so shocking to them that Edmund Kemper was who they were looking for is because he was okay. He was a guy who did bad things, but he knew how to play the system so well, was so intelligent, and and came across so nicely to people. Like we were discussing earlier, he almost
He
became
was
a
the
police
perfect.
officer. He was the
He
perfect
was.
sociopath.
He was the perfect. I'm sorry. He is the perfect sociopath. He's basically um he's gotten me to like want to like talk to him, and me knowing that he's a terrible murderer and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I want to hang out with this guy. He's just very charming.
He, he is. He's brilliant, and we're kind of jumping around here because we haven't done the beginning stuff, so I don't know where to throw the facts
It's
of stuff
okay.
before that ends.
Okay,
But
we're tagging a whole bunch of people and listening at the same time.
okay, yeah, but he like when he was institutionalized for a while, he memorized the outcomes of 28 different assessments or assessment tools so that he would know exactly what to say were they to try him with any of these tests in order to get cleared for things. He just
he
knew it.
yeah
He helped that he was working for them.
he was working
He
with
was
the psychiatry department, and
yeah,
he was I think he was also helping people get released, stuff like that.
he
Like they would come to
was.
him
Yeah.
because he could actually he would he's one of the people I try to like I try to let people know that these serial killers so it's not that he doesn't have emotions, it's that they don't understand human emotions. They do. They're actually super empathic, but with that being empathic and stuff like that, they're also very manipulative. And again, just to let people know what by empathy, I'm saying actually understanding people's feelings and stuff like that. So he knew how to manipulate them is what he did, not the whole empath from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He just yeah, and everybody just thought he was the greatest guy ever when he didn't make police officer or sheriff's department. Um, friends of his who were on the force gave him a student badge, handcuffs, and a gun. And we're just like, and he was driving a car at that point in time that looked like a police cruiser. So he was basically, even though he couldn't get the job, he was set up in a way that got him a lot of the benefits from it, except for actually being a police officer.
I'd sit with
Oh
them.
my!
Yeah.
Yep.
The next one, wah wah
You're saying the
wah.
force was strong with him.
He was very, very strong with the force.
Yes.
So I'll jump back into where I left off, and then we
Yeah.
kind of explain a little bit. And Lori, we will actually get to that a little bit later because it's quite a bit further down. When he does explain why he chose. It's not just the heads; it's in general mostly the bodies. But yes, we will explain that.
Yeah.
He had a reason.
So
And part of it was, strangely enough, a lack of confidence. So he was born in Burbank, as I stated earlier. He had a troubled upbringing. His parents divorced pretty early in life. Um, when he was a child, he moved to Montana with his mother, Claire Nell. And by the way, by
the
the end of this show, you are going to hate Claire Nell. You will.
Clarnell, yeah,
She
she's
was an absolute monster.
I do think her. I honestly do believe him on this.
She created
She created him, very much created him.
Actually, there was quite a blend.
Actually,
there was no racially motivated aspect to this.
no. One of his victims was I think she was Japanese. That was a
Asian.
15-year-old victim.
Um,
That's the saddest
actually, I
one
think
too.
there was also one that was a girl that was of Asian descent
The last
who was, I think, 18 or 19.
No, I think
It was
it could be.
the two. Remember the two girls together that he kidnapped from the university?
I think those two were white girls. I could be wrong.
One was Asian, one was white.
The Asian girl, the 15-year-old, I can't think of her name right now, but we'll get to it later. But she was heading to music class or something like that.
Dance
She was in like,
practice.
I'm sorry,
I think it was dance practice.
dance practice, and it was like not like whatever recital or like the small stuff. It was actually like it was for being for ballet and stuff like that. I want to say, so she was actually going on. I think she had a scholarship or something like that on for
Yes,
college.
2 girls, 1 Kemper.
Yeah, 2 girls, 1 Kemper. But yeah, hers was sad, real sad.
You know what? Before we continue with this, I forgot to do something. Trigger warning: there is explicit content.
Dell said "fuck" before trigger warning, though.
That's fine. Also, under the fair use, another author may make limited use of the original author's work without asking permission. Pursuant to 17 U.S. Code 107, certain use of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, and research, is not an infringement of copyright. And then another warning here: the related content may be disturbing to some individuals, so viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah,
We should have done that earlier, but yeah.
I only talked about skull fucking corpses before that,
Irrumatio.
no big deal.
Or as we say, Irrumatio. I'm so triggered, Slippy. Yeah.
Sorry, Slippy. My bad.
Whoopsies. I know we're talking about Kemper, but I feel like putting a parental advisory up there like that.
What'd you do?
Parental advisory.
Bobo.
Oh,
I could just put trigger warning. Actually, that might be more effective. All
It
right.
shows up better.
Yeah, it does show up a little bit better. That's why I said that. So here we go. He moved to Montana with his mother, Clarnell, who kept Kemper locked in their basement, which frequently had rats. He ran away to reunite with his father, but the father had remarried around Christmas of 63, and then at that point sent Edmund to stay with his paternal grandparents in Northport, California. It was there in August of 1964, at the age of 15, that he murdered them. Following the murders,
Yeah.
Kemper was briefly diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia by the court psychiatrist and sentenced to a Atascadero State Hospital as a criminally insane juvenile. Released at the age of 21, after convincing psychiatrists that he was rehabilitated, the 6'9" Kemper was reportedly regarded as a non-threatening by his future victims, by the way. He targeted young female hitchhikers during his killing spree, luring them into his vehicle and driving them to secluded areas where he would murder them before taking their corpses back to his home to be decapitated, dismembered, and violated. Kemper then murdered his mother and one other friend before turning himself into the authorities. Found sane and guilty at his trial in 73, Kemper requested the death penalty for his crimes. Capital punishment had been suspended in California at the time, and he instead received 8 concurrent life sentences. Since then, he has been incarcerated in the California Medical Facility in Vacaville. Notably, Kemper and Herbert Mullen overlapped, as Dell stated earlier.
I don't think we were recording at that point.
I thought we were.
Well, we got that they were serving the time together, but
Okay. So, there was an overlap in their murder sprees. And this added to the confusion in the investigations, ending with both being arrested, but are within a few weeks of each other after the deaths of 21 people. So that was just an overview, by the way, of what we're going to be getting what we are going to be getting into. Gosh, I cannot speak right now.
oh, yeah, I thought you were going into the fun part is that
we were.
Mullen and Kemper were put in cells next to each other, and they would get in fights about things like, "You took my dumping ground," and techniques and stuff.
Not yet.
So-
I'm gonna start back
Oh.
up with the early life because it actually goes more in depth about why you're
yeah.
gonna hate his mom.
You bring up the dude from Twitch with us.
Yeah, I'm going to. I was actually going to say hello to a few people real fast. So really, Tyler's back.
This guy, man. Did he drink all his stepson's Mountain Dew after making loud sex to his mother?
Lovely.
Do you think that's what happened?
But it's a good triggering. Where's my lotion? Hey, Constance.
Hi, Constance.
Hey, Star. Hey, TK. What's up? Yes, words are hard. So, that is the wrong serial killer that you were mentioning?
What was his defense team's argument to try and get him off? I remember a fad back in the day was to say Satan made me do it. The devil made me do it.
Yeah, that wrong, you know.
Look at his
wrong
name.
person, but what?
The guy is from Twitch, his actual name.
Don't get it. Why is it funny?
Jizder.
Okay.
Jizder for Ev.
Okay.
Hi, Tyler.
But yes,
That was Son of Sam.
Rebbing is here. Hello, hello. Yes. Conjuring 3. Covered that. Yay!
Hey.
Okay, so yeah, in this case, that is not the case. You're thinking more of like,
But
I don't
okay,
know, Son of Sam.
so if you
type
really
stuff.
what a defense team would do in this situation though, like because he admitted to it, he didn't hide anything. He admitted to it, everything. Told
He
him
wanted to be
everything.
put away.
Kemper actually is up. Kemper has the most, I think, logged interview hours in for prison. He is 100% open to talking to people and stuff like that. So, but the defense teams in this case is to try to keep him from not getting the death penalty.
Even though he wanted it.
Yeah. Well, no, but at the time the death penalty was suspended. But that in a person's case who admitted to it, the defense team is just to make sure they don't get the death penalty in prison.
So let's get into his early life. Okay.
You want to play commercial? Or should we?
Okay.
No, it's up to you. I'm sorry. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, let's go to a commercial real fast. It'll be about 3 minutes, guys. We will. If it hadn't got mixed up, that'd be great. Give me a second here. There we go.
Yay.
Okay, we will be right back.
Flash warning.
Commercial. There are definitely flash warnings here. We'll be right back.
You are found guilty of witchcraft. You are found guilty. You are found guilty. Witchcraft. You are found guilty. Hello, all you beautiful people out there. It's your boy Sleepy. And when I'm not guzzling down gallons and gallons of amazing ice cream, yes, oh, I love ice cream. Oh, hang on. I'm watching PBDC TV. Now, back to the show, all you beautiful people. And remember, stay nasty.
Hello, Shell. How are
Hello.
you? Woo! So I sent one of our lovely favorite people a link, and I got fuck Kemper. Wow, he was fucked up, especially what he did to his mom and her head.
I mean, you're welcome to come in here, Vice.
Vice, get your butt in here.
But I know
I love you.
I know you're like 8 hours ahead.
Okay, so let's get back into this real fast. So, I'm missing my nose ring tonight. I went to play with it and it's gone. So, okay. Again, as we had mentioned before, he was born in Burbank, December 18th, 1948. He was the middle child and the only son of Clarnell Elizabeth Kemper, maiden name Stage, and Edmund Emil Kemper Jr. Edmund Jr. was a World War II vet who, after the war, tested nuclear weapons at the Pacific Proving Grounds before returning to California, where he worked as an electrician. Clarnell often complained about her husband's menial electrician job.
This man was part of the nuclear weapons stuff or whatever.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Calvin. So, yeah, let's talk about that. His menial job.
I think after becoming a World War II vet, testing nukes, you're allowed to sit back and become an electrician if you want. Like,
You're allowed to do
unless
whatever
you're
you want.
gonna unless you're gonna don a cape and go flying, you've pretty much done it.
The thing with this, with his mom, she was never diagnosed with this, but they actually, people have gone back, psychs and stuff like that have gone back and they've basically diagnosed. They didn't diagnose her, but
we're gonna get to that. Actually.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get to her diagnosis.
It's almost the notes are right there. Yeah, sorry.
Or like
the postulation of her diagnosis.
Oh, there was another thing I want to bring up too, real fast. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Dell's trying to talk. What?
It's like Hexxus and I are both like, we've got these facts, and they're coming up.
They are coming up. I promise. I'm trying to. That's why I did an overview so we know where we're going, and then we got this.
Yeah. Well, no, I was gonna say real fast though. When the schizophrenia diagnosis for him was actually
bullshit.
It was a blanket term at the time, or not a blanket term, but there was a blanket diagnosis, is what it was at the time. Anybody that didn't really have an understanding of, they would just make. I'm sorry, they would say they're schizophrenic.
Yeah, it's a different diagnosis these days.
But so again, Clarnell often complained about her husband's menial electrician job. First off, let's clarify something. Electrician jobs are not menial. You actually have to have quite a bit of knowledge to be able to do that.
Yes.
They're dangerous and they take training.
Yeah, my buddy, my best friend or whatever, Mike, he went for his to become a journeyman was, I think, 3 years.
4, I thought.
Somewhere around there. Yeah, it was somewhere around there. It's a lot.
I mean, not that I was here when he did that. But,
and he has to constantly, every year, has to retest.
Oh yeah.
To get his certs and everything like that.
Well, it's also for safety purposes.
Oh yeah.
So, Edmund Jr. later stated that suicide missions in wartime and the atomic bomb testing were nothing compared to living with Clarnell.
That's saying something right there.
And that she affected him more than 396 days.
I can relate to this. I was there.
Of fighting. Okay, let's try this again. She affected him more than 396 days and nights of fighting. The front lines did. Okay. She gave him more PTSD than actually being in the front lines.
Being around someone like this or being with a person like this, and I can tell this from firsthand experience, if everything is calm and nice, they can't stand it because they don't feel like they're in control. So they have to push and do this and do that and nag and whatever. Yeah, they just keep moving the goalpost, and then they just have to keep
once you fix one problem, they create another.
And then it's just big old fight every single night. Like that was my ex. Like,
And then you're ready to understand why these people commit murder, because it doesn't go in your head to just get away from them. It goes in your head to get rid of them so that they can't do it to anybody else ever,
yeah.
or they don't have a chance of coming back into your life at some point.
Oh, exactly. So let's talk about Kemper. This we all know he was
Not
a
that
big
I've killed anyone.
right. Same.
We're all in a
I
rural area right now, so we all know our spots. I'm sorry, we all have driven by a certain field and we're like, I know if I put a body there, at least dug it 6 feet down, and
We live near the desert.
yeah, I was like, I know I
It's
can get
fucking
away with this.
Nebraska, dude. I have so many fields with wells and shit in them.
Nobody will ever find them in the cornfield except for the children of the corn.
Right?
Nah, he who walks behind the roses got my back.
Fucking Malachi. I know what that's like. Reminds me of my ex. He gaslighted me for a long time before I was able to get rid of him. Yeah, I mean, my relationship before this awesome guy over here was a whole lot of gaslighting, and I totally get it. Definitely. I can neither confirm nor deny. So weighing in at a whopping 13 pounds as a newborn.
He pulled out half her intestines with her.
Ripped her from the V to the A. Kemper was a head taller than his peers by the age of 4. Early on, he exhibited antisocial behavior such as torture of insects. They were bugs. Come on. I mean, yeah, I don't want to kill a bug, but they were bugs. Come on. People kill spiders all the time. And cruelty to animals. There it is. At the age of 10, he buried a pet cat alive. Once it died, he dug it up, decapitated it, and mounted its head on a spike. Kemper later stated that he derived pleasure from successfully lying to his family about killing the cat. At the age of 13, he killed another family cat when he perceived it to be favoring his younger sister, Alan Lee Kemper. He kept pieces of it in his closet until his mother found them. Kemper had a dark fantasy life. He performed rites with his younger sister's dolls that culminated into his removing their heads and hands. On one occasion with his elder sister, Susan Huey Kemper, who passed in 2014, by the way. She teased him and asked why he did not try to kiss his teacher. He replied, if I kissed her, I'd have to kill her first. This was at 14, by the way, that he said that.
Well, I mean, we've all had that thought when we're 14, right?
Not if I kissed her, I'd have to kill her first. He also recalled that as a young boy, he would sneak out of the house and, armed with his father's bayonet, would go to a second grade teacher's house and watch her through the windows. He stated in later interviews that some of his favorite games to play as a child were gas chamber and electric chair.
That's my favorite. I was just looking for that.
Yeah.
I love that.
In which he asked his younger sister to tie him up and flip on an imaginary switch, and he would tumble all over and writhe on the floor, pretending that he was being executed by gas inhalation or electric shock. He also had a close to death experience as a child. Once, when his elder sister tried to push him in front of a train, and another time when she successfully pushed him into the deep end of the swimming pool and he almost drowned.
Everything's coming together right now because so all this, then with his, well, I think we're going to get to it, but with how his mother made him sleep at night
Right
to
here.
protect. Yep. Yeah. This right here, we were okay. He's very much nature or nurture versus nature right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The torturing the animal thing does not. It leans towards nature versus nurture, but the rest of this is nurture versus nature, if that makes sense. Kemper had a close relationship with his father and was notably devastated by his parents' divorce in 1957, causing him to be raised by Clarnell and Helena, Montana. He had a severely dysfunctional relationship with his mother, a neurotic, domineering alcoholic who frequently belittled, humiliated, and abused him. Clarnell often made her son sleep in a locked basement because she feared that he would harm his sisters, regularly mocked him for his large size as he stood at 6'4" by the age of 15, and derided him as a real weirdo in a phone conversation to Kemper's father, unaware that the son had been eavesdropping. She might have been aware, let's be real. And I wanted to make note that the basement that she locked him in did not have a light. It had a mattress that you could barely call a mattress on the floor. There was no light in there. There was no extra things that could, take up his time. And they would lock him in there after dinner while his sisters got to go up into their nice, comfy, warm, fluffy beds and be treated very well by their mother. He was padlocked into a basement with no light and quite often rats.
He was Harry Potter.
Yeah. Oh, comments. He makes a perfect family member for the Addams, sounds of it.
Actually, the Addams family, outside of the games that the kids would play, were a very loving and close family that
Yeah.
tried to be
The
affectionate.
Munsters, on the other hand, they actually killed people in it.
Hey, Matthew.
Hey. Oh, hey, Constance. Sorry.
I said Susan.
No, I forgot to say hi to Constance when I sorry.
We're talking about
Hi,
Edmund
Susan.
Kemper, by the way. And thank you for joining, by the way.
Yay.
Kyler, would you knock it off? I can't say hi right now. My stepdad, Terry, just got done drinking my Mountain Dew Blast, which means I can't disturb his loud sex-making time with my mom. Oh, Kyler got a new picture, huh?
Yeah.
He's got some some braids now. All right. Oh, see. Oh, I see how it is. After I called you my favorite.
What?
Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better soon. Yeah, fucked up ankles suck. But yes, so let's get back into this. So, she also refused to show him any kind of affection out of fear that it would turn him gay.
Yep.
And told young Kemper that he reminded her of his father and that no woman would ever love him. Kemper later described her as a sick, angry woman, and it has been postulated that that she had borderline personality disorder. Which, go ahead. Sorry.
I would add extreme narcissism in there as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't talked about that much back then, but now.
So, I'm just going to give you a basic understanding of borderline personality disorder. It's it's a personality disorder characterized by a long-term pattern of intense and unstable interpersonal relationships, a distorted sense of self, and strong emotional reactions. That's just the basic of it. You can always learn more about it if you wanted to. I watch videos by the Med Circle, and there's a few doctors on there that come on and they speak on narcissism, borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, and various other mental disorders. And they give really good explanations that basically you can understand it. So it's not just a simple, oh, they're borderline personality, oh, they're narcissist, because these words seem to get thrown around quite often without people understanding what they are. I would definitely recommend listening to Med Circle if you get the chance. Sorry, go ahead, Del. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you didn't. I was just
okay.
a good tip.
But yeah, Med Circle's fantastic on YouTube. Definitely check it out. Oh no! Ran a stop sign that I did not see. Yeah. Oof. I'm sorry. Oh, we'll see you in a second then. So let's go back over to here. Woo! What?
Was he said he ran a stop sign? It was like, just make sure you tell the cop you pay his salary. You'll get out of it real fast then. No, you won't.
You made celery?
You pay his salary.
Oh, yeah, no, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Please don't ever do that. So at the age of 14, Kemper ran away from home in an attempt to reconcile with his father, who was in Van Nuys, California. Once there, he learned that his father had remarried and had a stepson. Kemper stayed with his father for a short time until the elder Kemper sent him to live with his paternal grandparents, who lived on a ranch in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas on Road 224, about 2 miles west of the town of North Fork. Kemper hated living in North Fork. He described his grandfather as senile and said his grandmother was constantly emasculating him and his grandfather. So, one of the things that I wanted to mention is the reason why his dad sent him away to his grandparents was because he was not getting along with the wife.
Well, he was getting real weird with them is what he was doing. He was like, I think at 14 or 15, he was like 6'5". He wasn't as tall as he was.
He was
But he
6'4".
6'4". I'm sorry. Well, I was close. He basically would just stare at her and
Well-
like just breathe heavy around her and stuff like that. Like, I was like, you have this 6'4" monster at 14 years old, you know, like, and he's probably almost 200 pounds.
He was also socially awkward
Yeah.
because of his mother. And he also had a hairpin trigger when it came to women who he felt were talking down to him or emasculating him or just anything like that. So,
I wonder
that-
why.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's obvious from the information here why, but so when it came down to it, he did start scaring people. And the really shitty part here is that Clarnell created that. Clarnell created the monster that he became by acting as if he was already what he ended up becoming, if that makes any sense.
So
Self-fulfilling prophecy?
something like that.
More Harry
So-
Potter.
Yeah, more Harry Potter.
Funny story. We were it reminded me of the time we were driving up to Santa Cruz to
And we decided to listen to this.
well, we listened to this podcast it's called the Serial Killers Podcast, and
They're really good, guys.
they're really, really good.
You
They're
should check them out.
yeah, on Spotify and stuff. Yeah. We were driving up and it was like a 3-part episode or 2-part episode or something like that, and we were we were actually driving down the back roads that he would use, stuff like that, and then like heading when we got to a certain part, I was like, or was it you who asked me, or I asked you? I was like, would you? Or no, I was like, you asked me, and I was like, would I go hang out with Kemper or meet him? So that was like, yeah, I actually probably would.
I don't think we asked. I think we both were like, this seems like somebody that we would definitely talk to.
Yeah, and I was like, well, it was something along those lines. But you were saying something. I was like, actually, I don't think you could talk to him at all. I don't think. And I was like, he might say the wrong thing or look wrong, and then it's just, yeah, it's done.
Yeah, true.
But
So let's get into the murders, guys.
yeah.
Murder.
I'm actually going back up to Lori's question so that I can
Was it the same?
answer it when I see the answer in here, and I'll bring that question back up. Excuse me. Okay. So on August 27th, 1964, at the age of 15, Kemper was sitting at the kitchen table with his grandmother, Maud Matilda Huey Kemper. When they had an argument, Kemper got enraged and stormed off to the other room to retrieve a rifle that his grandfather had given him for hunting. The rifle had been confiscated because he used it to needlessly shoot animals on the ranch.
Yeah.
He then came, some birds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
squirrels, birds. He then came back into the kitchen and fatally shot his grandmother in the head before firing twice more into her back. His grandmother's last words were reportedly, "Oh, you'd better not be shooting those birds again."
It's
Well, I'm not.
That was the thing that killed me. He was using it for hunting. It was okay. They just kept telling him not to shoot the birds, but he kept shooting the birds. Why did they care about the birds so much? I
I
mean,
don't. I don't
were they
know.
canaries or something? Like, he's shooting all of the doves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's so weird. You better not be shooting those birds again. Well, I'm not.
You can shoot anything else, but not the birds. We are taking your gun away and putting it in another room that you can get to it in because you shot the birds.
Right. But by the way, Matthew, yes, I did. I will be posting the pictures that are available shortly. So those of you that don't know that are on here, I will be distributing, I guess would be the word, some character pictures of me. I'm going to put up a few shortly of what the options are, and then I would really appreciate the addresses for when I do send them out. It might take a couple weeks, by the way, to do so, but it will be happening soon. Hey, Robert, how are you?
Hey, Robert.
You can't see it right now, but I'm totally shooting Dell the bird.
Oh,
A symbol? The birds? It was not symbolic.
His grandma just really liked birds, I guess.
Apparently.
And what was funny about that too is it was his own 22 that he shot her with,
Mhm.
but his grandpa had a 45 that his grandmother would take with him or with her whenever she would leave because she was scared of leaving him with that gun. That he would do so.
Well,
But they'd
You
leave
can
him
have
with the
this gun,
rifle.
but not
maybe it wasn't just
And-
that. It was probably also shooting the birds and then possibly burying them and then digging them back up and probably messing around with them and stuff like that.
Well, Susan said, maybe they recognize the animal cruelty as
Yeah.
being an issue. I think the circumstances around each incident would matter. Definitely.
But he
Um,
fantasized a lot about killing his grandmother, like shooting her up when she was in the outhouse. He would lock her in the crosshairs of his gun sights without her knowing about it frequently. So it wasn't like he just got pissed and shot her. Like he had been working himself up to it slowly, like during the months that he lived with them.
yeah.
If that makes it like
Sorry,
it
the
wasn't just
the look that you're seeing was not towards you. It was
okay.
me hearing things out there and kind of like trying to focus for a second and like sorry about that.
I'm just
Okay.
laughing at Susan right now.
Oh,
Don't
God
pew the surfer
damn
birds.
it, you guys.
Have you heard?
I hate you all so much. You all just lost the game because of that, because those two things are tied together in my mind.
Oh no.
Please don't.
It's just
I
gonna
will
be
start
Nick's.
singing Mersey Oats. I will.
Nick's is gonna be Africa by Toto. We're just gonna start playing it.
A kiddly divey too, wouldn't you? A kiddly divey too.
See, I mean, I can play both games. I don't give a shit. Okay, so let's go back. Actually, let's do our last commercial, and then we are going to get into after. Oh, you'd better not be shooting birds again. Ready? Let's go find it.
Raven is my favorite bird.
We'll be right back.
The book you are about to read details the tragedy that befell the small town of Riverside, Ohio in 1985. For its residents, an idyllic fall evening at the annual Founders Day Festival became a nightmare. After the accidental death of a local woman, Riker Jenkins was forced to enter a world of death and all-consuming madness. What followed led to the discovery of perhaps the most bizarre series of events in Ohio history. Despite the ongoing investigation of the 30-year murder spree that followed, the police remain baffled. While eyewitness accounts claim to have seen a suspicious mind looking near the scenes of various murders, no suspect was ever apprehended. On the anniversary of her mother's death, Samantha Boone will be forced to face an otherworldly evil with the help of her closest friends and local police chief, John Romero. Together, they will work to uncover the truth as they learn that death isn't black and white. Can Riker Jenkins escape the evil that has consumed him? Or will he remain trapped in the invisible box of eternity? When no one can hear you scream, silence is crimson.
This is Professor Edgar Fluffosaurus from Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, and when I'm not hosting Monster Chat or knocking down small Japanese cities, I'm watching PBDC TV. Now back to the show.
All right. Everyone's doing surfing bird now. Really? Really, Kyler?
I already say right there.
Don't shoot the Mountain Dew blast because my stepdad Terry needs to drink it before he makes loud sex with my mom. I thought you didn't want him to drink it. Make up your mind, Kyler. Aren't you like 45 now or some shit? I don't know. Why are you using your like high school picture anyway? Anyway, whatever. Damn shippy mimes. Wait, I drink a lot of Mountain Dew. Am I Terry? I think I just had an existential crisis. Meme crisis? Sorry. My mind is trying to picture what that would look like. Oh, jeez. All right. Let's get back into this. We left off with Grandma saying, "Oh, you better not be shooting those birds again." And then he killed her. Some accounts mention that she also suffered multiple post-mortem stab wounds with a kitchen knife. When Kemper's grandfather, Edmund Kemper Sr., returned from the grocery shopping, Kemper went outside and fatally shot him in the driveway. He was unsure of what to do next, so he phoned his mother, who told him to contact the local police. Kemper did so and waited to be taken into custody. After his arrest, Kemper said that he just wanted to see what it felt like to kill Grandma, and testified that he killed his grandfather so he would not have to find out that his wife was dead, and that he would be angry with Kemper for what he had done. Psychiatrist Donald Lund, who interviewed Kemper during adulthood, wrote, "In his way, he had avenged the rejection of both his father and his son. Kemper's crimes were deemed incomprehensible for a 15-year-old to commit, and court psychiatrists diagnosed him with paranoid schizophrenia. He was sent to Atascadero State Hospital, a maximum security facility in San Luis Obispo County that houses mentally ill convicts." So, yeah, man. I mean, we'll set something up. Oh man. Thank you.
I did it. Yes, I knew Constance heard me.
No.
Yes, everyone's hearing it in their head right now.
Gonna
To this.
take a lot to Why are you meowing?
I don't know.
We can never sing serious songs because he'll just meow the entire time. And yeah.
It just happens so much now that I do it so much that now when I go to sing, I do it now.
I had my most recent SO was terrified of spiders. Well, is terrified of spiders. And we had one of those little ones like this big with its arms all outstretched. They're called cellar spiders. They're just the little white ones that just put a little web up. That's all they do. And there was one running around and he was just like freaking out and trying to get it. And I was like, I can get it. And he's like, no, I'll do it, man. And he was humming the different songs from The Wizard of Oz. He didn't realize he was doing it, but he's like humming the Munchkin songs and stuff as he's trying to like scoop up this spider. And then it jumped onto some newspapers and he freaked out and ran away screaming. And I caught it and took it outside. But
Well, you do know that I am part of the Lollipop Guild, right?
yes, he was humming your song, dear, while he was trying to catch a spider
We
because apparently it
represent
calms him
the
down.
Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild.
We should just do a whole
I
episode.
need one of those so bad.
We should try to impersonate serial killers but with that tone on one of our episodes.
Wait. Hold on.
That is a terrifying cackle.
At Atascadero, California Youth Authority psychiatrists and social workers disagreed with the court psychiatrist's diagnosis.
Oh my God, you sound just like the stereotypical like kindergartner, like on Halloween. I don't know why that's like that.
Their report stated that Kemper
Say
showed
trick or
no
treat. Say
flight
trick-
of ideas, no interference with thought, no expression of delusions or hallucinations, and no evidence of bizarre thinking.
No. Say trick or treat real fast.
Trick or treat.
Okay, you have to wait until I get my box ordered.
Hi, Nicole!
Hi, Nicole.
Oh my God. Why? Stop. I'm about to lose my- Hex just sounded like a Valley Girl made it a server.
It's my Californian accent.
About to get a buzz, but lay off.
Ratatosker is drinking now. I would like you all to know you've driven him to this.
Hold on.
Carolyn, go into
Stay
the
away
light.
from the light.
Caroline. Oh, that was demonic. How did you do that? Oh, damn it. I was about to say, oh, yeah. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Raz, stop. Stop.
Metallica, California, tacos.
Tacos.
Oh man. All right. I'll get back to this. I promise.
I need some water real fast.
Woo! Should
Don't
I read
spill
that,
it.
like in a real voice now so that people
Yes.
understand what I
Yes.
said? At Atascadero, California Youth Authority psychiatrists and social workers disagreed with the court psychiatrist's diagnosis. Their reports state that Kemper showed no flight of ideas, no interference with thoughts, no expression of delusions or hallucinations, and no evidence of bizarre thinking. They also observed him to be intelligent and introspective. Initial testing measured his IQ at 136, over 2 standard deviations above average. Kemper was re-diagnosed with a less severe condition, a personality trait disturbance, passive-aggressive type. Later on in his time at Atascadero, he was given another IQ test, which gave him a higher result of 145, which, by the way, it is now rated at 147, as far as I know. With Rodney Alcala actually being much higher than him at 167. But Alcala's dead and he is not. Kemper endeared himself to his psychiatrist by being a model prisoner. And he was trained to administer psychiatric tests to other inmates. A psychiatrist later said he was a very good worker and that this is not typical of a sociopath. He really took pride in his work. Kemper also became a member of JC's. And if you don't know what that is, that's the United States Junior Chamber, also known as JC's. It's a leadership training service organization and civic organization for people between the ages of 18 and 40. And it's a branch of Junior Chamber Internationals with there's like emphasis on business development, management skills, that kind of thing. While in Atascadero, he became a member of JC's and claimed to have developed some new tests and some new scales on the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, which is a standard psychometric test of adult personality and psychopathology.
I believe it's 279 questions.
Oh,
I've taken it like 4 or 5 times.
let's see. I can actually look at it right now.
One of my favorite questions on there is, would you be interested in learning the workings of a door handle? It's phrased slightly differently than that, but it's
all you have to do is take it apart.
but they also but I mean it's trying to place you like, do you think this way? Do you think that way? It also asks you questions like, do you hear voices in your head? Do you believe you are possessed? Are you telling the truth? Are you even reading these questions? And I've taken it so many times. Yeah.
Oh,
used
I
to have
think that
parts
they've
of it memorized.
gone
There's the
up.
MMP too.
Yeah, I want to say that they've gone up in the amount of questions and statements. Because I'm just looking at it right now, kind of trying to see if they just have a basic little blip. There it is. But
That's huge.
yeah,
Takes
it looks
an
like there's been a
hour
lot
or
more
so to get
added
through it.
to it than 200 questions now. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're about right. Upwards of it.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Am I sure about what? You know what? I don't, you know, I don't know how to compare that because I feel like the Ripper was still worse, and I know that's weird, but I get where you're going here. I don't care what the tests say. Kemper seems smarter, or maybe even more manipulative. Yeah, all the above.
Yeah.
All the above.
That's what we said earlier, Susan.
He-
Yeah, he's the perfect sociopath.
Mhm.
Each test taught him how to answer the next thing properly. And
Yep.
then when he showed that he was such a good person and a good member of the psychiatric ward, I guess, they had him lead, working with other people. They even had him giving some of the tests to people.
Oh yeah.
That he worked for them before
was
he was
not-
let out.
He was not only trained in the testing itself, but yeah, he was administering the psychiatric tests to other inmates, and in turn, he was teaching a lot of them how to pass them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He was a sociopath.
This is also where he too with talking with other inmates and stuff like that who are rapists and stuff like that. This is where he learned that it was, if you're going to do this, you basically just need to kill them.
Well, so when he was saying
And
that
not
he
to
had
leave evidence and
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, when he was, saying that he had developed some new tests and new scales on the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, he was specifically talking about an overt hostility scale. During his work at Atascadero, he had told the psychiatrist about that. After his second arrest, Kemper said that being able to understand how these tests functioned allowed him to manipulate his psychiatrist, admitting that he learned a lot from the sex offenders to whom he administered the tests, as Del was saying as well. So let's get into, man, this might be a multi-parter again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we could do that.
This always is a multi-parter. I'm awake. I can keep talking. I actually don't have to work tomorrow right now, but so his release and the time between the murders. On his birthday, his 21st birthday in 1969, Kemper was released on parole from Atascadero. against the recommendations of the psychiatrist at the hospital. He was released into the care of his mother, who had remarried and taken the surname of Strandberg, and then divorced again. And she was in Aptos, California, which was a short drive from where she worked as an administrative assistant at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Kemper later demonstrated further to his psychiatrist that he was rehabilitated. And on November 29th, 1972, his juvenile records were permanently expunged. The last report from his probation psychiatrist read, "If I were to see this patient without having any history available or getting any history from him, I would think that we're dealing with a very well-adjusted young man who had initiative, intelligence, and who was free of any psychiatric illnesses. In my opinion, it is my opinion that he has made a very excellent response to the years of treatment and rehabilitation, and I would see no psychiatric reason to consider him to be of any danger to himself or to any member of society. And since it may allow him more freedom as an adult to develop his potential, I would consider it reasonable to have a permanent expunsion of his juvenile records." Now, let that sink in for a second.
So
He murdered
There
his
were-
grandparents, and
there
they
were other,
expunged it.
there were other psychiatrists who were going. It was something along the lines of when they released him, do not send him to his mother.
Yeah, all of them were saying, just don't send him to Claire. Send him to Claire now.
Yeah. The other psychiatrists saw that was what was
A
triggering
huge
him.
trigger.
Yep.
And I do honestly wonder how things would have turned out for him had he not gone to his mother.
His mother did seek him out when he moved in with his mother, then he moved out, and then he moved back in with his mother. But while he was living apart from her, his mother would seek him out at his place and fight with him there
and berate
and stuff
him
like
and
that.
everything. Yeah.
Call him, bug him.
Yeah, call
Over
him
and
everything.
over again. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah. A boy's best friend is his mother.
Yeah.
If you're Norman Bates. Sorry. I'm not talking down to anybody who feels that way about their mother, okay?
It's so
But don't be Norman Bates with your mom, please.
Yeah, don't.
Please don't. So, when he had saved enough money, Kemper moved out to live with a friend in Alameda, California. There, he still complained of being unable to get away from his mother because she regularly called him and paid surprise visits to him. He often had financial difficulties, which resulted in his frequently returning to his mother's apartment in Aptos. At a Santa Cruz beach, Kemper met a student from Turlock High School to whom he became engaged in March of 1973. The engagement was broken off after Kemper's second arrest, and his fiance's parents requested her name not be revealed to the public. The same year that he began working for the Highway Division, Kemper was hit by a car while riding a motorcycle that he had recently purchased. His arm was badly injured in the crash, and he received $15,000, which is the equivalent of $91,563 in 2021.
Yeah.
In the civil lawsuit he filed against the car's driver. As he was driving around, he then bought a 69 Ford Galaxy, and he was driving around. This is phrased wrong. Give me a second. He was driving around in the 1969 Ford Galaxy that he bought with part of his settlement. He noticed a large number of young women that were hitchhiking and began storing plastic bags, knives, blankets, and handcuffs in his car. He then began picking up young women and peacefully letting them go. According to Kemper, he picked up around 150 such hitchhikers before he felt homicidal sexual urges, which he called little zapples, and began acting on them.
There's the t-shirt for this one.
It sounds so
Hashtag
dastardly.
little zapples, catch and release.
It sounds so dastardly. Little Zapples. Ooh. Then he's just killing chicks.
Yeah, Zapples sounds like tea. Hashtag little Zapples. Oh, Mercia. So, gosh, there's so much more.
What do you want to do?
Do you
Part
guys want to
2?
do a?
Yeah.
Are you tired, or would you like to do a part? Like, go on, or would you like to do a part 2?
Let's do a part 2.
All right. So we're gonna say that we're going to start next episode with his later murders.
Yep.
All he wanted was some Zapple pie.
Zapple.
It's the Zapples, man.
If he
Made
was
from the
the
best shit on earth.
if he was the serial killer of the musician, how am I gonna word this?
Frank Zapple.
Yeah, Frank Zapples. You got it.
I think I got it before you did.
Just like everything, the gears in my head is one too, like a straight halt. Halt. That sounds so weird.
All right.
Yay!
Well, Del, thank you for joining us.
Yay!
I love talking about killing people and people that kill people.
Yeah.
How do you feel about next Saturday? So we
Well,
can finish this.
Yeah, we can do it next Saturday, and then we'll basically
Next
have fun.
Saturday, I'm going to be in Laughlin.
Oh, okay. You know what? We will figure this out. Because next Friday is Mother de la Morte, and then the Friday or Saturday after that would be us.
I didn't approve this time off, Del. I'm just saying here.
Oh, stop it!
I'm just kidding.
Okay, my hair
And-
will show up. I'll
Right.
be in Laughlin.
It's just hair sitting there,
Cousin it.
right?
All right.
Well, thank you again for joining us. You are always welcome, of course. And thank you guys all for watching and hanging out with us.
Monday. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out. And let me find the outro. I don't know where it is. Everything got moved around, and I'm very upset by this.
Oh, no.
Everything
I
got
didn't
taken
do
out
it.
of order, and I'm going to have a mild panic attack over
Just
it.
do that one right there.
All right, bye.